wa ni pen khoj ya u ki rai bangi nang yo ya ki ne ki sambai.
This indigenous folk song echoes from the mountains of Cherrapunji. Singing it is Richard Ranning, a local knowledge holder belonging to this hamlet of about 50 families. Cut off from the rest of the world, one has to trek down 2,500 steps to reach Nongtro, a village in the East Khasi Hills of Meghalaya. Nongtro has always had a profound connection with its local forests and its local agrobiodiversity. Through the song, he is actually seeking permission from nature before plucking the wild edibles that have reproduced naturally next to his plantation of pineapples. To be used strictly for consumption, he is careful not to disrupt the ecological balance.
Ni penih ni kinen Kujur im kuni kom o uniu jelang bang pen uniu jelang ubang set lang ha kami dimir ujur im ni ubang pendon kam nang ta udon uni usok trun ru ubang thung ha kaba hau benai Oktober dan benai September ngila ayo ban yo khaj ni usok ru tami thung ha kan riang uni udai ujali ubang khon ubang ikhlek lang bakan ai kena spur ujur khlau ni mah uni ujur khlau ubang pendon kam ha ka ban khlek im bat ai kini kena.
Being dependent on the forest for his livelihood means that for at least 5 to 6 times a month, Richard forages wild edibles like jali, jarain and jakria. 2 kilometers uphill from Nongtro, in the neighboring village of Momithide, Nesta Karmuflang, a school teacher and farmer, is doing the same, collecting reyukai, jatira and jamirto that have sprouted in his farm and will make for good meals.
Reyukai, it's a kind of yam, but they're tubers. If it grows, then after some time some tubers will grow inside, but we don't eat. We eat only this the leaves. We eat only the leaves, and these are also very valuable in terms of nutrition and also taste. We can mix with mashed potatoes. You see, we call this sofe. It's a local fruit here. As I know, we can find this sofe only in Meghalaya. We can preserve for some months. We can make achar. We can also extract the juice of this sofe, and the juice, as we know, as our traditional knowledge holders know, that the juice of this sofe is good for stomach. It can help ease constipation also.
The Khasi tribe, to which both Richard and Nesta belong, is only one of an estimated 476 million indigenous people around the world, those who are known to preserve an astounding 80% of global biodiversity. With more than 75% of its land area forested, Meghalaya's indigenous communities have always relied on agroforestry, a traditional land use system that uses trees and shrubs on farmlands to enhance productivity and ensure a sustainable way of life.
Now, this is an important aspect because if you talk about it, the incorporation of the trees or the integration of the trees in any of the system, whether it is directly or sequentially, what you will see is the management in terms of how it is done into improving the soil, or also into other aspect of addressing the nutritional diversity. Like the kitchen garden, for instance, they include a lot of these fruit trees as part of the kitchen garden.
Agroecologist Gracia Thakar works for the Northeast Slow Food and Agrobiodiversity Society, an organization that has been promoting indigenous food systems by creating repositories of knowledge that involve locals.
So if we look at the way the indigenous communities have managed the food system, you will see a component of diversity, where you will see there is in a system, in any of the system, there is multi-cropping, where a variety of crops, say if we do through our mapping exercises, we have found that a community have about more than 202 food plants. So that diversity in itself is a mitigation process towards climate change.
Indigenous people and their food systems have survived and adapted for centuries, equipped with an innate knowledge of how best to coexist with changing environments. But the recent years, and with it the pressures of intensive agricultural schemes, have posed a threat to this self-reliance.
Millet used to be one of the main staple here, but the coming of the PDS system has made rice very accessible, and slowly, gradually it has replaced millet as one of the main staple crop, and also besides other staples, but now rice has become the main staple around here. So these are few examples of how, when we are not thinking through of how a PDS system should be managed, it could threaten the traditional crops being replaced.
In 2018, a survey conducted by NSFAS across 32 villages of Meghalaya and Nagaland revealed how, despite harboring more than 200 food plants in every village, local dietary diversity had dropped considerably. The preference for genetically uniform, high-yielding crops over local varieties, as has been the case worldwide, had led to 75% of plant genetic diversity being lost. In the 1990s, the local farmers of Nongtro took to the cultivation of broom grass in a big way. Used for livestock feed, brooms and fuel wood, this could sell for as much as 100 rupees a kg, but at the cost of soil health.
Namaring soto ba ladang itung haki jakarep uni ulang bas ne hodok kata-kata kabe de patui pat kijingtung. Ladap hitung jingtung hajan uni utenra jong uni utu jingtung unemi namar uklan uni pantan ni ka baru penduk ikwi par kijingtung. Ndai mentapan ulak kelau ni, ulak wan raah ke jaka rep kejongi namar ba kawe wa kongsan kolong hakador. Men suap kapol jengi dang kena al tengka per kiji. Al tengka. Mentapan ulak poi hado 100 per kiji.
In an effort to address how the region's biodiversity was getting affected due to changing cropping patterns, NSFAS began introducing several programs, one of which was the midday meals scheme of schools. At the Mohammed Lower Primary School, almonds are being replaced with the traditional food chinkapin, peanuts with perilla seeds and lettuce with the chameleon plant. Unlike most places where a diet like this would be restricted to the usual rice, dal and potato, on the menu today we have rice, soya chunks with pumpkin, cabbage salad with perilla seeds, mint leaves, chameleon plant leaves and the jatira, making up for 6 of the 10 food groups recommended for a healthy, wholesome diet. All the food here has been sourced from local farmers and from the school garden that was set up with help from NSFAS.
We have already grew like budina, then jamurdo, but they are not coming out yet. Yeah? So we also grew like in Khasi we call it patau. Children are engaged in the school garden for weeding and all, for ploughing, tilting the soil. No? we engage the children here so that they can understand the value of gardening, and also they can understand the value of how to eat local food.
As you can see, we do a comparative study of the local food with the commonly available food, and oftentimes we try to promote that the nutritional content of our traditional food is way much more higher than the food that we buy from the market.
This school lunch break is unlike any other, as students perched on a hill and sitting across the mountains relish a hearty mix of food grown endemically in their homelands.
Ngabam kaja, patau, trela, kubi, upiat, unai, mat ujur em. Kalau kababang bah, kublai sibun. Ujung bang bangabang di patau, kublai sibun.
Researchers have often pointed out how our food systems are both impacted by and contributors of climate change. Evidence shows that traditional food practices, like those still prevalent in Meghalaya, are climate friendly and should be supported. With over 130 villages under its fold across the northeastern states of Meghalaya, Manipur, Assam and Nagaland, NESFAS has been pushing to bring back the resilience that comes with traditional food ecosystems.
The first thing that we did through the food system is we do a lot of festivals, which brings in people a realization of how rich our biodiversity is. So first thing is an acceptance, or to promote the diversity within the community through these events and gatherings. And secondly is the inclusion is the aspect of recognizing those practitioners in the community, like the custodian farmers, the knowledge holders, and they become the people who helped others or to share the knowledge to other community members. And an important aspect of that is gathering on documenting the knowledge that they have.
Back in Nongtro, Richard tells us how he is assured that his fellow villagers are beginning to return to the food of the land with greater interest and investment.
Natakadaw kibriw ki kamsotanat banbam yak ni kitur klaw na malap kilong kiba khoj kiba suba kibam don atak eka yakabonmet. Natakadaw mangisan ni kinong sansinong hi nadu kini kibanai June, July, August, adu September won kibangi khej naning ilum yak ni kitur klaw ban mau ban khej nak tuki klaw ban wan rasing ban sen khanang ba kini kijing bam ba kilok kiba kodor hadu kata-kata. Oj na yeu kidon ki sibun ba ki jajhur lo ki bangila ban yo ndai kim da song tenat ndai ki song tenat kini ki jhur khlaw ki bangi puna.
Thanks for watching Eco India. If you like the story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Scroll.in on YouTube.